Hello, and welcome to LSET Tech Bytes. During today's lesson, we will examine the development of a user-friendly stopwatch application. We'll examine the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code that powers this stylish stopwatch. Let's explore this modern interface. The document starts with the HTML tag, indicating that this is an HTML document. The lang attribute specifies the language as English. Next, we have the head section where meta information and the document title are defined. The meta tags specify the character set and the viewport settings for the document, ensuring proper display on various devices. Here, the title tag sets the title of the document as Stopwatch. Moving on to the body section, this is where the visible content of the document is defined. Inside the body, we have a div element with the class box, which likely contains the entire stopwatch interface. Within the box, there's another div with the class Stopwatch, which is where the time display will appear. It currently shows 00, column 00, column 00. Below the time display, we have another div with the class controls containing the buttons for controlling the stopwatch. There are 3 buttons: Start, Stop, and Reset, which likely correspond to starting, stopping, and resetting the stopwatch. And that's the breakdown of the HTML code for this stopwatch application. Now that we've covered the HTML structure of our stopwatch, let's move on to the CSS part to make the user interface more user-friendly. The CSS code here defines the visual style and layout of the stopwatch interface. The body selector sets the styling for the entire page. It specifies that the font should be Arial, Helvetica, or a sans serif, the text should be centered, and the background color should be white. The margin and padding are set to 0. The stopwatch class styles the time display. It sets the width, margin, font size, background color, text color, border radius, padding, and box shadow, creating a visually appealing display for the time. Next, the controls class provides styling for the buttons. It sets the top margin and positions the buttons below the time display. Within the button class, we define the styling for the buttons. This includes font size, padding, margin, background color, text color, border radius, and cursor upon hover. The transition property creates a smooth color change on hover, and the box shadow adds a subtle 3D effect. As you can see, when a button is hovered over, the background color smoothly transitions to a lighter shade, enhancing the interactive feel of the buttons. Finally, the .box class styles the container holding the stopwatch and controls. It sets the width, height, background color, margin, border radius, box shadow, and position. This creates a visually appealing and well-positioned container for the stopwatch. And that's a breakdown of the CSS code, illustrating how it enhances the user experience of our stopwatch interface. After completing the styling with CSS, let's move on to the JavaScript part to bring our stopwatch to life and make the user interface even more user-friendly. The JavaScript code here utilizes the jQuery library to add interactivity to the stopwatch interface. The document.ready function ensures that the JavaScript code within it will run when the HTML document is fully loaded. Here, we initialize variables for the stopwatch, running state, and time. The update time function calculates the hours, minutes, and seconds based on the time variable and updates the text displayed in the stopwatch accordingly. The start timer function initiates the set interval method to increment the time variable by 1 second periodically and updates the display using the updateTime function. Conversely, the top timer function stops the interval set by start time using the clear interval method when the stopwatch is paused. The resettimer function stops the timer, resets the time variable to 0, and updates the stopwatch display to reflect the reset time. Lastly, event handlers are set for the start, stop, and reset buttons, which trigger the corresponding functions to control the stopwatch based on the user's interaction. And that's an overview of the JavaScript code, demonstrating how it adds functionality and responsiveness to our stopwatch interface. As a result, you will find the stopwatch ready for use at the end of this procedure. For regular updates, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.